Good morning, darlings. How is everyone doing? Happy Friday. I am so energized and in such a good mood this morning. Maybe it's because I switched to a different milk to go in my tea. I'm not sure, but I am grateful for it. The only guest we have today is Jesse over here, who will be joining me on my live stream. Very awesome gift from one of my very personal Jesse. It was a awesome birthday gift from my real life Jesse. But it's been crazy this week trying to catch up since my birthday because I had back-to-back trips from Finland to California and then Albuquerque. So I've been trying to catch up, making sure that I'm not falling behind. Don't worry if you have made a request. I promise it's coming. I have scheduled out my April and have all of my requests that have been made in the past few weeks coming soon. So if you do make a request today, it will be live in May. It is a $50 donation for a request. And all of that money, as always, goes toward my mental health outreach. Every single dime goes toward my mental health outreach. And like I said, have that big project underway is coming soon too. Announcement is coming soon. I cannot tell you, I am probably going more crazy than you are because I want so bad to talk about it. I want so bad to share it, but not just yet. And it's a test in patience. And I feel like a lot of us can use that. Good morning, David. It's gonna be May. In fact, it's gonna be May. Yes, if you make a request, it will be out in May. If you are just biting at the bit, I'm sorry. I love you. Um, but yes, we have some really awesome things to share today. I have some good news. We have some snaps. So if you're not familiar, the snap cup it's taken from Legally Blonde too, but it's just a way that we share some of the good news in the community. So if this is your first time and you have good news to share, you can always jump over. I post on Wednesday or Thursday in the community on the community part of this page. Just a post where you have the opportunity to share your mental health wins for the week. And then I will share them here with the community on our streams. So we have so many people already. Nick says it stopped snowing. Well, I don't know what that is. Oh, just kidding. We already have Oregon and Missouri. I know that. Where's everybody else from? Just some random awesome person says my typing's a bit off because I've been really sick. Oh, I hope you feel better. Maybe you need some tea too. I will send you some loving energy, but go get some echinacea. Hello. Hello, Chaotic 79, War Moose Eternal. We have Texas, we have Wisconsin, Arkansas, pretty much the whole country in here. If not yet, we will have the whole country in a few minutes. Yep, new mug. It's one of my other amazing birthday gifts or gifts to myself. I don't remember which, but yep, I have another new mug. James, Lord Thoran, I hope I'm saying that right. So as everybody kind of gets settled in here, I'm going to start off, as I always do, with some good news. This is for Washington. Washington OK's first statewide missing Indigenous people alert, which I think is awesome. There is an uptick, unfortunately, in missing Indigenous people. And oftentimes in a lot of states, it's just become so common that it doesn't even really get the attention it deserves anymore. And it certainly doesn't get the resources and stuff that these people deserve to be found and be safe and be taken care of. So this was really exciting for me to see. Washington Governor Jay Inslee on Thursday signed into law a bill that creates a first-in-the-nation statewide alert system for missing Indigenous people to help address a silent crisis that has plagued Indian country in the state and nationwide. When we went to Albuquerque, I saw signs everywhere about the missing Indigenous people and how you can watch out for it and where to report it and stuff like that. So it's good to see that there are more efforts being made for this because it is something that really breaks my heart. The law sets up a system similar to Amber Alerts and so-called Silver Alerts, which are used respectively for missing children and vulnerable adults in many states. It was spearheaded by Democratic Representative Deborah Lackenoff, the only Native American lawmaker currently serving in the Washington state legislature, and championed by Indigenous leaders statewide. I'm proud to say that the missing and murdered Indigenous women's and people's alert system came from the voices of our Native American leaders, said Lackenoff, a member of the Tlingit tribe and the bill's chief sponsor. It's not just an Indian issue. It's not just an Indian responsibility. Our sisters, our aunties, our grandmothers are going missing every day, and it's been going on for far too long. Tribal leaders, many of them women, wore traditional hats woven from cedar as they gathered around it in sleeve for the signing of the on the Tulalip Reservation north of Seattle. Afterward, they gifted him with a handmade traditional ribbon shirt. I'm looking at a picture of this, it's really beautiful, and several multicolored woven blankets. The law attempts to address a crisis of missing Indigenous people, particularly women, in Washington state and across the U.S. While it includes missing men, women, and children, a summary of public testimony on the legislation notes that the crisis began as a women's issue and it remains primarily a women's issue. So I think this is really awesome news. Makes me very happy to see that we just keep moving forward in a lot of ways. The news doesn't want us to see that, but in a lot of ways we are moving forward to address some of these very pressing and important issues. And that is something I do have Native American heritage. That is something that I hold very dear to my heart. Hola! Just some random person's having dinner right now to feel less dizzy. Yes, please eat. Please, please eat. I hate the dizzy feeling when sick. That triggers my anxiety. It does me too. If I get dizzy because I'm sick or because I haven't eaten, it will trigger my anxiety too. I think that's pretty normal. David says, I studied Native American history in university, a tragic part of American history. I love that about you because I get to learn so many different things. And while I never formally studied history, I do really appreciate learning and hearing about it. And I learned a lot from my dad, who had taught me about the Trail of Tears and things like that growing up. So my dad had a lot of Native American beliefs. Fun story. So my dad really had a hard time with people that would tell him that he didn't believe in God because he was of Native American beliefs. He just held Native American beliefs, and he didn't have any specific faith to speak of, but he believed in a lot of the traditional Native American things. And one time, I just want to say it was Jehovah's Witness missionary had tried to tell him that he didn't believe in God, and he just looked at the sky and said, "What the do you think the great spirit of the sky is, you moron?" It was just one of the most memorable dad moments I ever had. The hot already Arizona says hi. Yep, it is already in the 90s here, but not in the 90s. As in the 90s with NSYNC, the Backstreet Boys, and Sabrina the Teenage Witch. The 90s as in I'm gonna step outside and I'm already sweating. Can we specifically talk about men's mental health? Absolutely. The fact that this goes neglected in every way possible sickens me. I completely agree. I did an interview with Christian Burns, speaking of the 90s, of BB Mac about a year ago now. And we were talking about that because he was really big in the 90s. He was part of a boy band called BB Mac. They were very famous. I met them when I was 16. And he said that because of his privilege, because he had all these things going for him, and because he was a man, he felt like he couldn't get help. Like he felt weak for wanting to get help. But he said, I was at the top of the mountain, I had the cars and all these girls were fawning after me, and I had the clothes and I had the houses, and I was still having panic attacks. So we do talk a little bit about that, but absolutely, I'd be happy to discuss that. Obviously, I can only give my perspective as a bystander who has seen a lot of men struggle with different mindsets and stuff like that. It is really, it is really sad to me because there's this mentality, and I see this a lot back east in the Midwest and stuff. There's this mentality of, well, men don't cry, suck it up. You need to figure out how to just get over it. That's the theme that children are given a lot. And I feel like if we would allow little boys their emotions and allow them the space to express those and help them do that in a positive way, we'd have a lot fewer repressed, aggressive, irritable men who are emotionally unavailable and struggle to be in a healthy relationship because they were never taught how to handle emotions. So thus, when they're presented with a partner, who women do tend to have those stronger emotions. We tend to be more emotional. Women tend to be more logistical, tend to be, not in all situations. And we obviously all have that yin and yang, but they don't understand how to manage that. And as they go through life, when they're struggling, with their own emotions, they were never taught how to process those in a healthy way or deal with those. So I very much acknowledge that that is a very real issue that we're needing to address more and more. And I will say that in my personal realm, anybody that ever tells my kid any variation, I have an 11-year-old boy, any variation of suck it up, men don't cry, man up, anything like that will get a roundhouse kick to the side of the head with a high heel. I just have no patience for that whatsoever. I've definitely had words with people who try to say things like that to little boys because it does have long lasting psychological effects. I wanted to say thank you for all you do. I'm a disabled Army veteran. It means a lot to me. You're a truly amazing person. This is Matthew Kuzma. Well, thank you for your sacrifice, and I appreciate you being here and supporting the channel. I'm glad that you're getting value out of it. I do want to continue producing content to help veterans. My dad was a Vietnam vet. I have several friends that have served. So that also holds a special place in my heart, and it humbles me to see so many soldiers and veterans coming in here and finding solace with the channel or being able to share their stories. It's been really amazing to learn more about that, to get to know you guys. So thank you for being here, and thank you for your sacrifice as a soldier. I appreciate you. War Moose Eternal says Native Americans are some of the kindest, most down to earth people I've met. I have learned so many amazing things from Native Americans because here in Arizona we have a lot of tribes. We have a lot of Native American communities and stuff. And while I would love to spend more time out there, and I think I will, I just don't really know how to approach that because I don't want to be seen as the crazy white girl, that's trying to do something salacious because I'm not. I really just want to learn more about their culture and their way of life and their day-to-day life because I know it is quite different just from what I've seen, but they really are. They're so very sweet. Robin Williams is a symbol of mental health with men in the US. I agree. I think Jim Carrey is too. Keanu Reeves has a really powerful backstory. There are so many men that are now starting to speak out about this, and addiction is really prevalent in men because that's how they try to numb it. Suicide rates, while suicide attempts are higher with women, suicide itself is higher with men because they tend to use more lethal methods. So there is a very huge thing that I want to figure out how to address more because I don't want to be that person that's pretending to understand what you guys are going through, and I really want to figure out how to integrate that more onto the channel so that the men here are getting more support because I do see you guys, I love you guys, and I know that you have very unique struggles as we all do. There's unique struggles to be said about being a woman. There's unique struggles to be said about being a man. There's unique struggles with being Caucasian. There's unique struggles with being Native American. There's unique struggles with being gay or trans. We all have these unique struggles, and I really want to make sure that everyone feels like they're getting support and that their voice is being heard here. So if you guys do have any suggestions for content regarding that, please feel free to let me know, and I will do my best to oblige. As a man and Lord Thuran says, as a man and a US Marine, my mental health was crap for a very long time because I got that man up or something to that effect. But as a father of three, I tell my kids it's good to let those emotions out. Amazing. And I will say, again, thank you also for your sacrifice. I will say that this is amazing to hear that you give your kids the space to express themselves, to be themselves, to understand that emotions happen. And I think that one of the things I've wanted to make a video about for a while is how I hear so often that whole, well, I need to be strong for my family. That does not mean turning your emotions off because if say there's a loss in the family and you're saying, I need to be the strong one, I need to stay strong. If you're shutting yourself down, you're teaching your partner and your children, whoever else is involved, that when we're faced with a challenging situation emotionally, that's what we're supposed to do. That strength looks like shutting that off, and that's not the case. So being open with family members, being open with our partner, and expressing emotion when you feel it, and doing so in a healthy way, showing them how to do so in a healthy way is really important. But kudos to you. I really have a lot of respect for parents that do that. Matthew Dorado says, "Hey there, queen. You're amazing. Thank you for being the most beautiful woman in the world inside and out." Well, thank you. I appreciate that so much. Angelic Storm, going to email you a short story. It might be something that helps you get through some rough times. Thank you. And I promise your reaction is one of the ones that's coming up soon. I remember. I remember. James Steinhoff says, I also have shell shock. I worked for the Navy for a few years. I found CBD and a small amount of THC works for some issues dealing with shell shock and anxiety. Well, thanks for sharing that. Thank you for your sacrifice as a soldier. I will say that every single time as someone comes in here and it's their first time or someone comments on the channel, because I do want you guys to know that I see and appreciate you, and I appreciate what you've given us, what you've done for us. I think that that's the truth for a lot of soldiers and vets. I've heard that a lot. My dad, as I said, was a Vietnam veteran, and he smoked marijuana to deal with his pain and to deal with some of his stress and anxiety and depression symptoms. CBD wasn't really a thing back then. It was, if it was available, it certainly wasn't prevalent. So, but he definitely did smoke marijuana to deal with that. And I know a lot of people that it helps with here. McAlva45 says it helps with ADHD and depression. I know a lot of people that that's true for. It helps with anxiety. It helps with symptoms for BPD, stuff like that. I personally cannot smoke pot because it gives me panic attacks. Go figure. It has an opposite effect on me. And I know that can be a challenge as well. I smoked a lot in my teens and early 20s. Last time I smoked was with Bam Margera and a bunch of the Jackass guys. And I figured that was a good enough last time. And I'm okay now without it. I kind of wish that I would have been able to turn to that instead of the harder stuff during those times of extreme challenge. But I have found other methods that work as well for dealing with the uncomfortable emotions, either in sitting with them and being able to sit with them, or in processing through them. Mick says THC works for me most of the time. It's hard to talk to a therapist. They've never been to war. They have no idea. So THC lets me do crowds. I really feel like veterans should have their own counselors and therapists that have been through that, because I can't imagine trying to talk to someone that has absolutely no idea what you're going through. I just feel like it's better to connect to people that do understand, and professionals do have something very valuable to offer, but I just wish there were more professionals that have been through these things so that they could offer more insight and more validation. Victor Lopez says, since my wife passed away last year, I'm going on my first date in a long time tonight. Congratulations. I think that's a perfect time. Let's give Victor some snaps, a few preemptive snaps, because that is amazing. I know that can be so difficult, and I'm very proud of you for taking that step. So let's jump into the snap cup now that Victor has prompted that. We only have a few this week, but that's okay. I was a day late, dollar short, as my dad would say, in posting the weekly wins over on the community, the post over on the community. So let's dive into the Snap Cup. As always, yes, we're going to sing the song. If you guys want to join in, I want to see videos of you singing this song with me. If you need the lyrics, just look up Legally Blonde 2 Snap Cup and it will come up. But Snap Cup time, gather ye round. Friends and foes together, united and bound. Pass it to your neighbor instead of blowing up. Then you'll find harmony and love in a Snap Cup. All right. So, first out the gate is Damien Kynock. Finally made it home to see his mom for the first time in 15 years. That would be huge. I can't imagine how much fun you guys had, how amazing that was to see her again. So snaps for Damien. Amazing. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Aaron. Mwah. We got a donation train going on here. Who's gonna jump on? Who's gonna help out? Like I said, all of that goes to the mental health outreach projects that I am so excited about. And I've been working tirelessly, especially this week, in being able to get that off the ground. So summer it is. We are going to be doing a kind of beta run with it, and that is going to be through my Patreon. So if you haven't had a chance to check out my Patreon, make sure to do so. I always link that in the descriptions here. But everyone who is in the Patreon is going to get to learn about and test out this new project before the rest of the world. So make sure to check that out. Rick James says, Matthew Kuzma, who were you with? An IED in Afghanistan put me on a cane or wheelchair. I was in Alpha Company, 2nd Battalion, 327th Infantry Regiment, 1st Brigade Combat Team, 101st Airborne Division. That is a mouthful. That's like the royalty overseas that when they introduce themselves, they have all of these titles. But I love you, Rick. I have so much respect for you. I didn't see your win in here this week. I have a bone to pick with you. I better see some wins over here in the comments from you, sir. David Gab says, found a place to belong, took a chance with something new, and discovered something very beautiful. That means so much to me. Snaps for David. That's so exciting. And I'm humbled and I adore you, and I'm happy that you found your somewhere to belong. I found my somewhere to belong too. Matthew says, men need to feel, we need to purge, or our mental instabilities can rage detrimental to everyone. The man box is cell prison. We feel too. Not people, hopefully. When you say we need to purge, I'm going to assume you mean purge feelings, purge emotions, that you need to get those things out, not purge like the movies, but you're absolutely right. Phoenix AKI says, hey, Amanda, your videos have been super helpful for me lately. I've entered into my first serious relationship and it's easy to get overwhelmed with anxiety, but it's going super well. I'm happy for you. Congratulations. I've been learning to take a step back at times and ask, how do I feel right now? Amazing. That is an amazing skill to have. Keep doing that so I can stay in tune with my emotions, but still appreciate the moments. When even in the best of relationships, I'm in the happiest relationship I've ever been in my life. I'm in this great place, but there's times where my shadow tries to start sabotaging, and I have to say, okay, what is triggering this? What emotions am I having? And I need to just take time for myself to go off and process that and to reflect on that. So that is an amazing, amazing skill to have. Thank you, David. David wants a video on yoga and exercise for mental health. I think I can do that. I think I can work on that. Thank you for that suggestion. I am a certified yoga instructor, and I think I took a yoga challenge at the beginning of the year, so I am 4 months in now. Yeah, I think I've been 4 months, 2 weeks because I took it just before the new year because I'm weird like that and didn't wanna do the new year resolution, so I started a few days before, and I have done yoga every single day this year, except one. I missed one day, but I made up for it, and it's been making a huge difference. It's really great for mental health, and I got certified, and then I also got certified as a DDP yoga instructor. So I would be happy to share that with you guys. I really do wish the best for you, though, Phoenix Aki or Phoenix AKI in your relationship. Just understand, it's gonna have its ups and its downs. You guys are gonna have disagreements. There's gonna be days where you feel blah, but just stay in touch with who you are. Stay in touch with you and your own worth and your own value and what you bring to the relationship. And I hope it works out. If it doesn't, that does not make you any less of a person. You are still lovable and worthy. But I'm very excited to hear about this and hear how your first relationship goes. I know my first relationships, I have some horror stories to tell my friends about that. So let's get back to our snaps. This tea is so good. This new Bryson wanted to try. My son wanted to try. It's called Not Milk, and I'd never tried it. But last time we were at Whole Foods, there was a lady sampling it, and he sampled it and really liked it. So he asked me to buy him some, and now we have this stuff called Not Milk, and he's had a heyday with the name. But I put that in my tea this morning, and it is delicious. Just some random awesome person. I see you over here. So just some random. I'm just gonna replace random with awesome. So just some awesome person says no self harm for 4 years today. even at difficult times, never gave in to the urges. Snap, snap, snaps for you. That is an amazing milestone. I always love celebrating the milestones. Mine is coming up here in a couple months for cocaine and self harm. And I am so proud of you. I know that it's hard once you know that exists and you know that it's there, but you also know that it's not good for you in the long run. That sure, it can work short term, but it's not good in the long run. You saw that, you saw your own worth, and you've overcome it. 4 years is so amazing. Congratulations. I'm super proud of you. And I appreciate you continuing to be here and jump in, love on us, support us every week. Rick, still having wins. I did leave one on your post. Really? I did not see one. So maybe you left one on the last one. I don't know. Thank you, Rick, for your support. I did not see a win from you though this week, but you can share it here and I would be happy to read it and give you snaps either way. We have all of the veterans in here loving on each other. Old Man Rashi says, speaking of military, we need to teach people how to help people with PTSD. Agreed. We need to be teaching people how to interact with people with PTSD. I really honestly wish we do away with fireworks. I think it's kind of ironic that that is our way of showing our gratitude for our freedom is by traumatizing our veterans. I think that that is kind of antiquated at this point. We need to find another way to celebrate, or at least start banning fireworks in rural locations. So it's just in one place in the city that not everybody's shooting off fireworks for all hours of the night, because it traumatizes our veterans and more dogs get lost on New Year's and 4th of July because to them the sky's exploding. So I do think that we could be doing a lot more to deal with PTSD. David says, I was taught to not express feelings, don't cry. It just made things worse. Now I'm having to learn how to cry again. I'll make you cry. I'm just kidding. I understand. I've heard that from a lot of guys, and it's really tragic that that was what was taught. And I know a lot of guys that are just learning to cry again, and it's beautiful. I think it's so beautiful to see people, men or women, just being vulnerable and allowing us to be there for them. It takes a lot, but it's beautiful. There are charities out there that have counselors that are veterans. Okay, so there are more and more. Nope, not a plug at all. Feel free to share the charities here, as a matter of fact. All the thank yous and appreciation. Victor Lopez is a woman I'm going out with. I helped her sister with her depression. Well, thank you for being there for her. That's amazing. Mike says, I'm in new territory, testing the waters cautiously, also from one vet to all others. Thank you for all you did and do. Well, thank you to you too, Mike, for that sacrifice. I appreciate you as well. Welcome to the new territory here. I hope we don't scare you too much. We do get a little crazy, but I'll try and tone down my, no, I won't. I don't think I could tone down my insanity if I tried. Matthew Dorado says, men are taught not to be vulnerable, but we're human and all vulnerable, open to attack. We're taught not to express our feelings, but a strong man communicate with long suffering and patience. Yeah, and we're working more and more on that now, and I think the new generation is seeing how much damage that mindset has done, and we're working on undoing that. And the people that don't, I have words with. Victor Lopez got a new job as a bouncer. Congratulations for your new job. Snaps for that. Matthew Dorado says, we need men to raise up and let the future men, our sons, that it's okay to cry and talk about our emotions. Absolutely. All right, one more here. Let's do this. Oops. Bob Higgins Pierce, 7 years, sent cold turkey hydrocodone pills, was medicating for emotional pain. Now I confront it, fight it, and beat it. Sobriety is amazing. You do beat it because you're a boss and you're a superhero, and I'm so proud of you. So snaps for Bob Higgins Pierce. I abused prescriptions and stuff back in my teenage years and my younger years. I definitely did dabble in pills, and I know that that can be even more difficult because that's one of those things that, for the most part, people don't even judge all that much. There's such a stigma around cocaine or around drinking, things like that. And people kind of turn a blind eye because they don't understand that pills can be just as bad. And they're extremely easy to get. They're extremely easy to get hooked on. So I am super proud of you for doing that and for being able to overcome that. It can be extremely challenging with the atmosphere that is set up around prescriptions and abuse of legal medication like that. So it's something else that I do want to touch on at some point, because when it comes to legal meds, prescription meds, even over the counter meds like cough medicine, there are so many people that abuse them and don't have support because a lot of the support groups aren't specifically for that. As a matter of fact, I knew someone that I love. I know someone that I love very much who is struggling with addiction to cough medicine, to Dex and cough medicine, and it's really it's a different challenge, you know, because kind of like alcohol, it's very easy to get. It's everywhere. You don't have to go far to get it, and people don't question it when they see it around for the most part. So, but it still does have incredibly, incredibly damaging long-term effects. So kudos to you, Bob. I'm proud of you for your 7 years. Seven's such a magic number too, because 7 is that lucky number. So I think there's some serendipity in that. James says, I started smoking weed for anxiety because I was in a 12 alarm inferno. So I smoke cannabis for my anxiety and do CBD oil and gummies. Like I said, I hear that a lot, that really helps. Ken says, can't afford the Patreon crowd. Sorry. If you would buy me a coffee every month, you sure can, because we have our Wolf Cubs that are $5 a month. So if you would buy me a coffee every month, or in my case, I don't drink coffee, I will take, this is a vegan reishi tea. I will take one of those. But we do have different levels. Just some amazing person says, thank you a lot. I think I'll change my username to just some awesome person if I don't forget to again. That is your homework. Put it on a post-it note, write it in your hand. That's your homework for the week. Get on that. Embracing your crazy. Why be normal? I say. Mike says, yeah, normal is average and nobody strives to be a C student. Has anyone heard of 10 days Vipassana medication? This is demonstrated to pacify prison inmates. Even Oprah made a documentary about it. Well, I'm going to have to watch that because I have not, but I love to learn new things, so I will check that out. Lord Thoran says the group I belong to is called SAVES, SAVES. It is to support veterans and first responders. So if you are someone struggling, if you know the link to that, if someone could post the link here in the chat, that would be awesome. I do want to make sure that we always have as much support and as many options as possible. But yeah, I'm definitely going to look into that documentary, Vipassana. Sounds interesting. I do think I wish that there was more done for prison inmates too, or people that have had felonies, because I actually have a felony on my record from when I was 18. It's a couple decades ago. Just aged myself. And it's so hard, even if you completely reform, to have any semblance of a life after that. And I feel once you do your time and you're reintroduced into society, you should have a fighting chance to have a life, because otherwise all it's doing is pushing you back into a life of crime, because there's not really anything else that you can do. If you can't get a job, so you can't get a house, so you can't function, what I just always question, what are they expecting people to do? And it makes me think of the line in Ever After where she says, it seems to me like first you make thieves, then you punish them. So it's kind of true. If these people can't make money to support themselves, what do you expect them to do at the end of the day? Aw, people are checking in on each other's dogs and everything in here. I love you guys so much. Nick says, what is wait, what is a vegan tea? So this tea, actually, it's a reishi tea. It's reishi cacao. So it's got kind of a sweet flavor. Reishi helps a lot with mental health. It's a type of mushroom, and it helps a lot with brain health and with mental health. And it has the not milk in it. So I always put some kind of milk in my teas. I'm vegan, so I don't drink cow's milk. So this time it's called Not Milk, and it is a vegan option. It doesn't have soy or anything. So it's pretty awesome. It's pretty amazing. So yes, most tea by default, most tea is vegan, but I always add a little bit of some kind of milk to mine. So that's why it's vegan. Oh no, Lord Thran is leaving us. So I hope you have a great weekend too. Thank you for stopping by. Matthew Dorado says, "I did 21 years in prison." And I can't imagine it how difficult that has to be to try to re rehabilitate and join the real world again and assimilate, like that. I can't imagine what a challenge that has to be. I did 47 days in jail when I was younger, when I was in my 20s, and I was freaking out when I got out because I'm going, "Oh my gosh, I don't know. I've missed so much just after a month and a half." And not so much as in world news and stuff, but I was so far behind on everything. Of course, I didn't have a place to live. It was really rough even on a month and a half. I can't imagine years, especially decades, and then trying to figure out how to readapt. Do you have any tips for that, Matthew? I'd be curious if you have any tips for people that are trying to readapt into society. I set an alarm so I won't forget by tomorrow the randomness of this person will be gone. Well, don't let your randomness die. You can still have your randomness, but just also realize your worth, that you're not just some random person. You can change it to some random awesome person. There you go. Oh, Mike is running too. Thanks for stopping by. Mwah. The random person. Yeah. Then if you're the random person, it's like Britney or Prince. Everybody knows when you say Britney came out with a new song, you know who that is. The random person left a comment. I like that idea too. So I'm curious to see what you're gonna do. Oh, Matthew Dorado says they can imprison my body, but not my mind. Oh, that is such an amazing sentiment. I heard this story once of this woman who was kept captive, and she was kept in a box, literally in a box under these people's bed. And she talked about she talked about the stories, sorry. She talked about the stories that she created in her mind, and these other worlds that she created in her mind, and the things she told herself to keep her spirits alive and to hold on to her own self-worth, and to remember that she was a person that was worthy of freedom and love and those sorts of things. I'll have to see if I can find a name or something. If I can, I'll post it over in the community because I just happened to be reading it one time in an article. But it was really amazing. It's crazy how um, it's amazing. It's incredible how much power our minds have. David says, "I can't believe Amanda has made it this long without sneaking a peek at Aaron Paul. He's just staring at her. I can see him in the camera." So if you see me looking to the right, every time I look toward the messages, I kind of look at him and look at the messages. So I can't make it that long. You're right. You caught me. Oh, James says you look like early 20s. I love you. I love you so much right now. I got ID'd when we were in Albuquerque, and I was just so over the moon because it was my birthday and I felt old. So I was so over the moon. Uh, Matthew says, "I do. I've been out for 5 years. I did the same in solitary." Whoa, 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 whoa! You were in solitary for 3 years alone? What? How? How does one survive that? I can't imagine just being stuck in a room for a week. How? What did you do with your mind? I want to know. You're talking about they can't take your mind. I want to know where your mind went during this time. This will be interesting, guys. Where did your mind go when you were in solitary? I think this is going to be an amazing story. David says she is early 20s. Absolutely. You love that sneeze. Thank you for the bless yous. I have allergies kicking in right now here in Arizona. I never had allergies in my life till I moved here, but I have allergies kicking up. So I found living in my own world for happiness. I find it hard to crawl back to real world interactions. Yup, I hear ya. Gasca says I'll be hitting 46 in a few months. I always say I've been 21 for 24 years. My dad used to say that he was 25 with 30 years experience or 40 years experience or 35 years experience, whatever the case was. So I kind of like that. I'm just going to be 21 with a few years experience. I'm just going to stay 21 for a couple more decades. Uh, I'm really hooked on this tea right now. I love finding that certain thing that just hits the spot, and this is it this morning. I had my morning latte, which is it's a powder mix of ashwagandha and things like that, maca, that really helps with stress and anxiety, a little bit of cacao in there, cinnamon. Maybe I should do one of these. Maybe I should show you guys my little morning latte routine, because it really does help me have energy and puts me in the right mood to start the day. So if you want, I can make a video about my little morning latte. I guarantee you nobody else has made this, but it's amazing and it really does help. I'm 45, but my maturity is a 15-year-old boy. That averages out to 30. Mix is at 52 going on 12. I feel like that's why we all get along so well, because I feel the same, that I don't feel my age at all. I feel like I'm starting to look my age, but I don't feel my age. I still feel like I'm in the 90s. And every time I watch Sabrina, I've been watching Sabrina the Teenage Witch with Bryston for the past couple months. And every time I watch it, it still feels modern to me. It still feels like it's relevant, like it's still coming out with new episodes. It doesn't feel dated at all to me. So I'm definitely still kind of stuck there in my world. Vincent, you joined us. You stopped eating to join us. I hope you didn't rush through a meal for us, my dear. Matthew says, my spirit inside, our bodies can withstand much, but it's our minds we must convince. I had to find that inner child that was lost. I had to find the true self before the world corrupted it. That is the most beautiful thing I have read all week. Like, take a minute, guys, to let that sink in. Someone who was in solitary in prison for 3 years, spent 21 years total in prison. If he could find that inner child, if he could find that spirit, if he could find that reason to keep going, that worth, that energy, there is no excuse for the rest of us. And it's so important to stay connected to our inner child. I called mine the kid. But it's so important to stay connected to our true self. And I guess at the end of the day, if you're in jail, and this is probably, or prison, this is probably why it scares me so much, is you have to face yourself. You have nobody else but yourself to face, and your own imagination and your own insecurities and your own strengths. That's all you really have. And I feel like you really find out a lot more about who you are and your character, and how you fight or not, how not fight physically, but how your intuition kicks in when things are like that. Don't grow up, it's a trap. I agree with you. Do y'all remember when we wanted to be this age, when we wanted to be close? What were we thinking? What were we thinking? I just remember one year for Christmas, I said, all I want is to have a college degree. All I want is to already be graduated from college. And it makes me think of the movie Click, where he keeps just wanting to fast forward through the boring stuff or the tough stuff, but that's what makes life interesting. And I always say, if you think of it like a video game, a game wouldn't be interesting if you just walk in and you beat the boss with one hit, like Goma level 6, and you don't have to collect anything, you don't have to do anything, you don't ever have to restart or try and figure things out. God, that would be the most boring game ever. It's like Minecraft. Just kidding. I have a little bit of a disdain for Minecraft. I am doing great, Will. How are you? Oh, Vincent said he had leftovers today. It was okay-ish, yeah. Warm-up dinners are usually never, holy crap, this is the best thing I've ever eaten in my life. But I'm always really grateful when I happen to have them, when I just don't feel like making meals, which by the time I get to dinner, I am always just kind of, I don't want to do this. Talked with my daughter about stuff, and even Schindler's List came up as I read an article about it, that Schindler's secretary died at age 107. Holy crap. 107. That's amazing. I bet he or she had some stories to tell. I watched Schindler's List actually for the first time last year, I believe it was. Maybe 2020. I think it was last year. I'm pretty sure it was last year. I watched Schindler's List for the first time, and I got the book recently, so I'm going to be reading the book here soon. Right now, I have been kind of slow at reading my current book, but it is something like 400 pages. So Had a shamanic journey a few years back to reconnect with my inner child. Beautiful. I've done some shadow work and some meditation work and stuff like that to deal with, not to deal with, to reconnect with, to welcome her, to love her, to give her some of that energy and validation. George Castle says, "You're such an amazing person. In so many ways, you give me hope, but I don't know. I'm tired of the pain. Thank you for being so kind and positive. I just don't know if I can take it much more." You can privately email me if you need to, if you just need someone to talk to. You're welcome here on the stream to stay. I know what it's like to be just absolutely done with the pain. And I certainly don't expect you to hold on for anyone else. And I don't expect you to just live with the pain. But I promise you, there is another side to it. And it is possible to overcome that, to build a really strong toolbox, to lessen the pain and to cope with the pain when it is there, to really find a more happy and fulfilling life. I promise, promise, promise that's possible. And there's so many of us here that will help you get there, that will support you and love you and hold your hand. So please don't give up. I care if your light goes out, and I am more than happy to help you through that journey. If you want to know exactly what I did, I do have that free 5-day challenge. It just kind of gives the framework of what I did, the changes I had to make to start getting out of that darkness. It's in the description, links in the description. It's happinessboost.life. You can sign up, take that free 5-day challenge. I pop into your inbox every day for 5 days and just give some little mini challenges, some insights on the things that I did. So it's just kind of a little bite size of my happiness boost course. It's an overview of my happiness boost course. So if you're just needing kind of some direction, or you're needing some tips, or you're needing some challenges, feel free to sign up for that. But like I said, we've got your back. You can private message me, and there's so many people in here that will love you and help you through that. I promise. I usually have a lot of allergies this time of year too, but they seem to be gone this year. But I'm still worried to buy flowers for a girl because I might be crying and sneezing nonstop. Don't buy flowers anyway. Come on, get her some vegan chocolate, or get her actually the most beautiful thing that I can ever remember my dad doing for my mom was he got her glass roses and says, "I'll love you till the last one dies." I never understood the whole concept of giving flowers to represent your feelings for someone. It's, this is your feelings for me. It's going to be really pretty for about 3 days, then die, and I'm gonna throw it in the trash. Like, that is not the representation of love I want to be expressed to me. I have a granddaughter with Down syndrome, and nothing brings out your inner child like playing with her. Highly recommended. Yes, 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 yes. I love individuals who've been blessed with Down syndrome because they have so much to teach us. They're just so innocent. They just speak their mind. They just do whatever the flow guides them to do. And it's a really, really beautiful thing to watch. So I absolutely agree with you. David says, I did an involuntary shudder when you mentioned Minecraft. Yeah, tell me about it. I have an 11-year-old. I'm sure you get this all the time, but I wanted to thank you for being an awesome person and getting through the mental challenges I have to face every day. So thank you. Well, thank you for being here. Mwah. I know that they can be very difficult, and I'm so happy that I got through all of that to be where I am now. Just to think that I would have never known the love and happiness that I feel right now had I jumped. So if you are struggling, I really encourage you, go back and watch the video that I made. I made a vlog. If somebody could grab that and post it here in the comments, the vlog for if I had jumped. This is what I would have missed had I jumped. Make sure to watch that vlog because it really just gives insight from the other side of that pain and darkness to here's all the things I would have missed out on had I stopped fighting, had I given up. So make sure to check that out. Rick D says, you can handle so much more than you realize. Take it 1 day, 1 hour, even 1 minute at a time. It will get better. Don't ever stop reaching out for help. Absolutely. It gets better. You have to work on making it better, but it does get better. And as long as you're taking one step in the right direction right now, if you make one positive, healthy, healing, nourishing decision for yourself, that's one step toward healing. That's one step in the right direction. Every step is forward movement. I love how David had brought up the thing about the glass flowers before I started that story because he knows me that well. He knows me that well. James says, I went to jail instead of prison for 25 to life. Instead, I got 3 days. What? And a year's probation instead of premeditated murder, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, and premeditated criminal damage. What? How did you go from 25 to life to 3 days? Do I even wanna know what you did with that judge? I don't think I want I'm just kidding. That's amazing. Something out there really felt like you had a purpose to be out here and be sharing something with all of us in this society, and I feel like, if you do go to prison, maybe there is something that you can do there that you can share. There's been a lot of programs started, reading programs, yoga programs, things like that in prison. So I think that either way, that there's definitely a reason, and there's a reason that you're out here and that you only got those 3 days. Hi, Barab. I'm great. I'm fantastic. How are you? Oh my gosh. Just some random person says, "You gave me a great idea. I can make wooden flowers." Oh, brilliant. Amazing. David just said brilliant too. We're totally on the same wavelength. Wanna show me your love? Buy me a guitar. Wanna show me your love? Buy me a life-size cardboard cutout of Jesse Pinkman. You do have to say thank you to the good people, absolutely. We have Costa Rica in the house. Hello, Fernando. No, Vincent's right. Love can't be bought by physical stuff. I think that it can be represented by physical stuff, but there's so many there's so many times where it's just I needed to hear the words or I just needed someone to hold me and love on me. And I am it really does depend on your love language and I am an acts of service and a gifts person. Those are my two big love languages. So I love to make things for people or do things for people. I love really meaningful gifts. But at the end of the day, there are times when I just want to collapse and be held, or I just want to be able to speak my mind and be heard or listen to someone else. So, yep, yep. Do we have any more requests or anything in the house here? I know we're winding down to the last 10 minutes. So I just want to make sure that if anyone has any requests or anything that they get in, like I said, they will be released in May. I'm already completely booked up for April because I have to catch up and stuff. But that's even better because, as we said in the beginning, it's gonna be May, and I'm gonna be listening to that song way too much in the next few weeks. Burab says, I've had my challenges. Well, if you need to talk about them, feel free. David says to Casca, I love you, but only maybe on a ukulele level. Ouch. I love you, but not that much money. I think Purple Heart and White Oak would make beautiful flowers. You need to share pictures of this with us once you make these. I need to see pictures of these flowers once you do these. I have to get a revision surgery at the VA hospital on my back. This Monday is the day of doom. One of the rods and screws broke that they put in. Lots of fun, 6 to 8 weeks for recovery. That's 6 to 8 weeks that you get to spend with us, Rick, that you get to hang out with us. I will be thinking of you on Monday, sending that energy, that love, that healing. Everybody just kind of take some time to think of Rick on Monday, that he gets through this and that he has a speedy and comfortable recovery. Casca, what about a 3D printed flower? I love you guys so much. This is great. Thank you for everyone for the smiles this is giving me. Thank you, Amanda, our glorious leader. I'm just part of the pack here. Oh, 30 days. James spent 30 days in the psych ward. Well, I hope that brought the healing that it was intended to. I hope that, you got perspective and were able to do the work necessary, or at least start doing the work necessary on yourself during that time. Make some of those wooden flowers, and I bet some of us would buy them. Do I need to? Oh my gosh, it'd be a cool idea is if we hello Sweden. Sweden's watching me. Awesome. I think it'd be an awesome idea. What if we all had different things that we created and that we offered, and we just had kind of a group Etsy for it? Wouldn't that be cool? And all of us could offer our different wares, our different goods, our different things. That'd be kind of cool. I'm sorry that you weren't feeling like yourself, Boo Rob. I know what that is like when you just I like to say I feel out of myself and a little to the left. So it just feels very unreal. Everything feels very surreal for a while. I hope that you can, connect to the things that you enjoy and connect to the things that express you and that will make you feel grounded and more in yourself. Oh, now we're talking about Vincent. Don't get me started on trips again. We had enough of that in the Patreon conversation this morning where we're all, and then we need to go here, and then we need to go here, and here's pictures of this place, and of course we have to go here. And yeah, so now y'all have already added way too many more travel destinations on my list. So shh, stop it. Stop it. Why does it keep blurring? Strangely enough, my camera keeps blurring. It's very weird. It's trying to focus on all this awesome. It can't focus. There's just too much light radiating out, too much love radiating out. My camera's going, I don't know what to do. To let everyone try and find that one spot that you would like to see and go for it. Let it give you a goal and a purpose. That was me for Finland. That was really amazing for me. I posted my vlog about it, and as much of a struggle as the travel was, it was so incredible to just lay there and feel like I'd finally accomplished this goal. I'd finally made it. So it was a very, very rewarding experience to lay there with this person that I love and just feel so free. I didn't have any obligations, I didn't have any schedules. It was just I feel totally free. It was amazing. David saying his goal is the pyramids, which you need to save for me because going to Egypt is on the top of my bucket list too. So yes. I'll have to go shopping for some Purple Heart. Where on earth do you go find Purple Heart? I need to know this. Down to the minutes. We're down to the wire here. Got the Snap Cup. Got the good news. Now have more travel destinations for us all. Aw, and you're all guys are all loving on each other. Hello, question survey. I'm really excited for some random person too. I think this will be really awesome to see how these flowers turn out, how that special someone reacts, and if they don't, they're dumb. Oh gosh. Rick, you really do help a lot of people on the community here. David's right. To the point of I always tell the veterans that seem to particularly be struggling, look for Rick James, find him in the comments. He is here a lot, and he can give a lot of insight and a lot of support and stuff for you guys. So just to let you know, if you're getting an influx of people finding you, it's because of me. So I'm curious, Rick, if you're okay with me sharing maybe your social or something like that with the other veterans who are in the comments that I see that are just really needing kind of some validation, support, and maybe direction. Are you okay with that? And if so, if you could just message me on social, so I have your Instagram or whatever readily available, that would be really helpful. Thanks for that, but I'm fighting right now. I don't feel wanted. I want it to end. If you are in a place, actually, George Castle, the video that I am going to be releasing tomorrow, I think will really address that, because if you're not feeling wanted, and that's a totally valid feeling, it means that you're surrounding yourself with people that don't see your worth and that don't understand the struggles that you're going through. And I posted this on my Instagram, and I do bring this up in the video that's going to be releasing tomorrow, that you're an amazing total package, right? But if a package gets delivered to the wrong address, that means that person isn't going to appreciate it. They're not going to want it more than likely. They're not going to know how to use it. They're not going to know what to do with it potentially. That doesn't make that package any less valuable. Just because someone's making you feel unwanted right now doesn't make you less valuable. You just have to surround yourself with people like us here that do care about you. And I want you here. I want you here in the comments and in our community. So there are a lot of people, not there is a lot of people, there are a lot of people that will see your value. You just have to make sure that you're being delivered to the right people. And if you have people in your life who aren't making you feel like that, then bye, Felicia. You can find the next person that will. And I know that can be a very hard process to let people go. I know I had to go through divorce, I've had to go through separations, I've had to end long-standing friendships. But at the end of the day, if that person or those people don't see what an amazing, lovable human you are, then you have to make space for the people that do. Question Survey is watching here, recovering from a badly injured neck and now sporting a neck brace, which is very uncomfortable and annoying to wear. Well, I hope that you don't have to wear it for too long. I hope that you get through that. I can only imagine how frustrating that is. If I can't move or if I'm restricted, it definitely kicks up my anxiety. So I can resonate with that. I can validate how awful that must be. For woods like that, I usually okay, go to a hardwood supplier. Um, But yeah, I hope that we are raising your spirits, raising your vibes a little bit. Question survey. Burrup says, Amanda, do you want to come to the UK? Yes. I came to London back in 2015, and I'm planning to go to Europe with Bryston at some point over the summer. I just haven't figured out when yet. Oh my gosh! Just a random person says, thank you, David and Amanda. I'm so excited. I kind of forgot I was sick and I'm feeling a lot better. Look at that. All of the love and healing energy here in the community. Beautiful. Mick says, I felt that way for the last 6 months and I'm still here and I want you here. Guys, I know I say this a lot, but if you do need somebody to talk to, please feel free to reach out to me. I know that like Trail on the repeat saying the pandemic affected many mentally. It really did. It kind of put us in little tiny boxes, so we're only around a few people, and if those few people aren't fulfilling our needs, then we can feel lost and hopeless and empty and broken and unwanted and unloved and all of these things. But despite what the pandemic wanted us to see or showed us, there are still a lot of people out there that very much love us and want us and will value us. Rick James, yes, it is okay. Love to help veterans. They are all my brothers and sisters. Rick, if you could just message me on Instagram uh, or just email me. My email is in the description so I can know the best way to kind of send them to you because I'm always just find Rick. He's in the comments. He's in all the live streams. Come on in. I've been really encouraging them to connect because I want to help people, but I know a lot of people have very specific needs that I just can't I can't validate because I haven't been there. So I can give insight and I can give my opinions and outlooks and things, but I just feel like it's so important that they find people just like them. Wink at David, who knows what I'm talking about. I know how many times I wanted to find somebody just like me. So you guys will get it soon. You'll get that joke soon, I promise. But for the people in here that are really struggling, please, please, please reach out to me, reach out to someone, whether it's a professional or just us here in the community or both. Please make sure that you're reaching out. I assure you that there is another side to that darkness. I do have to be wrapping up here, but if you are needing to further talk, my email is in the description. I read all of my emails. It might take me a little bit to get back to you, a day or two to get back to you, but I promise I do read all of my emails. I read all of my comments. I want you to know that I am here for you, that you're not alone, and that I care if your light goes out. So please do not try to don't try to do it alone. It's really so much harder when we're trying to repress our feelings or when we're trying to say I can do this by myself. Yes, you can, but there are tools that are very helpful as we navigate through our healing process and our mental health journey. It's very important that we build our toolbox, which is something else we talk about in that 5-day challenge. So if that's a struggle for you, sign up for that. Let me pop into your inbox every day for 5 days and give you some insights on how to do those things, because it's so important that we have that mental health toolbox to cope with difficult times, to improve our life overall so the difficult times aren't as impactful, so we're having more joyful times. That's super important. So make sure you're checking that out. I love you guys so much. I'm seeing some recommendations and stuff. If I didn't get to your comment, I'm so sorry. I love you. Please feel free to leave it as a comment on the video itself once it goes live. But I'm so appreciative for all of you. Thank you for the donations that I've gotten today that are just so helpful as we move toward this big launch, this big announcement for that mental health project. I appreciate it so much. I love you guys. I appreciate your support. It means the absolute world to me. But again, if you are struggling, please hold on. Please reach out. We've got your back. We're here for you. And I love you so much. Mwah.